Hello, my friend in health, Stephen here with Synergistic Nutrition. Well, we're living in some strange times that we're sitting in our homes worldwide to prevent the spread of a virus, but appears to be necessary. However, from my perspective as a degreed naturopath in private practice 30 plus years, listen to some of the most highly educated people on holistic health in trainings. You know, there's more you can do to protect yourself from getting a pathogen than people are, typically aware of. So I've been fortunate enough to be carrying the world's best whey protein powder, which most of you who have done business with me know that's called Green Meadow Whey now. We used to call it One World Whey, but it evolved into getting more results with just the whey protein and not mixing it, pre-mixing it with flavor, sweetener, or carbs in a big blender, so we protect the Tesla frequencies that are put into it. But you may or may not know, but Green Meadow Whey is the only whey protein in the world that is derived from grass-pastured cows, and in this case, it's an Amish farmer, and that particular soil where the grass is grown is very fertile. One of the things the inventor did before he decided on who he was going to purchase the milk from was he asked these various grass-based dairy farmers to send him specimens of grass, which he examined under the microscope, the blades of grass. And the one that had the highest chloroplast content, which is an indication of the nutrient density of the grass, was this one that he chose, the Amish farmer, he says is in upstate New York, that became our supplier of raw milk. So this raw milk is then membrane filtered. It's not the byproduct of making cheese. So 99% of all whey protein powders on the market are the byproduct of making cheese, and it's an acid whey. The pH is acidic. That's what happens when the lactobacillus bacteria in the milk grow to separate the casein from the whey, and then the whey ends up being an acid whey or an acid pH. Not a big deal unless you're drinking it raw. However, ours is membrane filtered, so the fresh raw milk, the casein is separated out through membrane filtration, so that whey is separated from the casein. You got the whey left over. You have a product that's never been damaged by heat. The cold sterilization is the way we take care of, adhering to the law to get rid of all the naturally occurring organisms in the milk. And the way this is processed ensures that the amino acids and the proteins retain the shape that nature gave them. Why is that important? Because your body cannot use an amino acid that has become bent and twisted by the heating process. So all of the whey protein powders on the market are heat sterilized, which does bend and twist a percentage of the amino acids and the proteins in the product. And this is why so many people consistently say that they have tried many protein powders, be it vegetarian protein powders, be it whey protein powders, and in particular, the other whey protein powders they've tried cause them digestive upset of some type or another. Back in the early 90s when I worked in the vitamin department of a health food store, I was, always trying to gain some muscle because I'm a lean guy. But at that time I was still struggling with the consequences of mercury poisoning on my gut, which caused, killed the nerves in my gut to a certain percentage, which of course diminishes your peristalsis. So I was always feeling bloated and constipated, and anything that would help improve that, would be great. So I was taking various whey protein powders, and every time I did, I always was more constipated and uncomfortable. So I gave up on whey protein as something that my body needed. I never bothered to buy another container of whey protein for, decades, until 2010 when I met this particular scientist who basically introduced me to this unique whey protein powder that we originally called One World Whey, that we now call Green Meadow Whey. Same whey protein powder. It's just that we removed all the flavor, carbs, and sweetener, as I said before. What's the value of taking whey protein into your diet? Well, it's little known in our modern day culture in the United States of America that whey was used in Europe throughout the late 1800s, throughout Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. There was 160 spas set up for people to go and actually live for a period of weeks drinking the fresh liquid whey produced by the local dairies when they're making cheese. And people that were sick would go there, and there was many reported improvements or healings. The age would go there and they would rejuvenate and become younger. So it was well known that whey uniquely had properties to it that surpassed what the benefits you get just from drinking whole raw milk. And in a book by a guy named Dr. Christopher Vassie, he's a naturopathic doctor, he actually wrote a book called The Whey Prescription, The Healing Miracle in Milk. It's now known that whey is uniquely nature's richest source of the sulfur amino acid called cysteine, and that is it's called the rate limiting amino acid for making glutathione, because that's what's most deficient throughout the entire body, throughout the cellular structures. The other two amino acids that make up glutathione, glutamic acid and glycine, are abundant within the cell. So when the cysteine finally enters the cell, and then it can be enzymatically combined with the other two amino acids that are already there in abundance. Why is that important? A healthy cell has 10% of its protein content as glutathione, but due to toxicity and aging, the production of that key chemical declines significantly. So your cell is no longer protected from all the assaults from the environment, all the different toxins, all the different free radicals, all the things you were exposed to in the past, the various unideal foods you've eaten. They all take their toll and diminish the glutathione levels. So how does this affect your body? Well, the cells will age at an accelerated rate when they're not able to be protected from the free radicals coming into the body. All your organs also would age at an accelerated rate. So each organ and each tissue will function at an optimal level if it has an optimal level of glutathione within the cells that make up that tissue or organ. Glutathione is the body's most significant means of detoxifying itself. So you've got your kidneys take care of some detoxification. You've got what's called phase 1, liver detoxification. Then you've got phase 2. So toxic substances are partially or completely neutralized on phase 1. If they're not completely neutralized, then they have to be completely neutralized on phase 2. 60% of the phase 2 portion of detox is glutathione. That is to say, if you're producing optimal levels. Your liver is the most important organ in this whole process of glutathione production, of filtering the blood, of getting toxins that have been neutralized out of the system through the bile. So eating a diet, taking supplements to support your liver health is very important. Whey protein, green meadow whey supports optimal liver health, optimal kidney health, optimal brain health, optimal digestive tract health. I've got testimonies that recently I recorded. There's Jay Cooper, who basically was diagnosed with colitis and got on green meadow whey, and after 30 days, all his pain and all his symptoms were gone and never needed to take medications. Then there was Brad Hawkins, who experienced a lot of benefits as well. I'll just let you hear him. It'll be quick. I'll just let you hear him right now.
My name is Jay. I'm 30 years of age, and I just want to thank the makers of Green Meadow Whey Protein Powder. After having chronic abdominal pain and pressure for months, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. The medical doctor told me that there was nothing I can do to treat it other than taking pain and nausea medication. Then I came across an ad for Green Meadow Whey on the radio and read the claims that it can help with all types of inflammation. I took the Green Meadow Whey Protein Powder every day for a month, and the chronic pain and pressure sensations went away completely. And I never took the pain or nausea meds. To this day, my intestines are free of pain.
My name is Brad. Green Meadow Whey was the first of several products that I've tried from Synergistic Nutrition. And let me tell you, it is by far the best protein powder that I've ever taken in my entire life. I've tried many different powders, from plant-based to different whey protein powders, and every other whey protein that I've ever taken has upset my stomach. This is the only product that I've ever had that has not done that. Along with that, it's helped me gain about 10 pounds of muscle, and I've actually decreased my body fat. I really cannot recommend this product highly enough.
So those are two recent testimonies. But in this particular video, I want to communicate something that's relevant to what everyone's going through worldwide right now, the fear of contracting a microorganism that could cause your body disease or kill you. And part of the ability to tackle or prevent contracting an organism that could cause sickness is a strong immune system. So one aspect of a strong immune system that's been discovered is high glutathione levels. So glutathione activates the T cells of the body to function optimally. What do the T cells do? They identify and kill pathogens, all kinds. So in one aspect of, you could say, being safe in the world today, because after this crisis passes that we're all going through, there'll still be the fear in people's minds about, not wanting to get any kind of a pathogen, from somebody else. So you want to always sort of like know that you can have a peace of mind if you are strengthening your immune system on a regular basis. There's lots of ways to do it. And whey protein, it's never been damaged by heat. And also because the frequency science that's in our product, we believe it enhances the cellular functions and the ability of the cell to uptake the nutrients and function better. There's something definitely unique about the product, our Green Meadow Whey, in that people experience a lift in their energy a lot of the time, up 5-6 hours of energy, a stabilization of their blood sugar. That's never happened with any other whey protein out there that I've ever heard of. So it's my belief and conviction that the Tesla frequency science in the product works very well on everybody. And the other aspect of your immune system is something that Royal Raymond Rife discovered. Now, if you're reading this in the newsletter that I've sent out to my customers in my database, then you can see the link that's in that email newsletter that you can click on and go to and watch a video where you'll hear the scientist Royal Raymond Rife describe his experience and work culturing microorganisms. And one of the things he found out, and he was the guy that developed a very powerful microscope that could see viruses and fungus and bacteria in their most clearest state, yet without killing them, so he could see them alive and see them evolve from one stage to another. And he proved and found that no pathogen grows in a pH of 7. So that's a neutral pH. The pH scale is 0 to 14, 7 being neutral. So that would mean that your body tissue pH, your overall tissue pH. Now, the GI tract, the mouth, the esophagus, the intestinal tract, that's supposed to be acidic. But at the cellular level, the overall pH of the body ideally should be 7. That's the conclusion that I draw from learning from what Royal Rife discovered regarding protection from microorganisms. So one of the things about microorganisms is that they do require an environment that's conducive to their growth, otherwise they can't grow. And apparently one of those is that your body pH ideally should be 7 for them to not grow. And so there's lots of mechanisms that control and regulate pH. Your exhalation of carbon dioxide and your breakdown of carbonic acid in your body, your liver function, your perspiration, all these things help regulate you so you stay in this neutral pH. But due to soil infertility, foods do not contain optimal levels of the trace minerals and the macro minerals needed by the body. And the macro minerals are the ones that will address the alkaline needs of the body. So personally, I take various alkalinizing supplements. I carry coral calcium, that's helpful. That's if you have a mildly acidic body, coral calcium can help that. Then there's also lime water, which is not the citrus lime, but it's called calcium hydroxide. So it's a name given to calcium put to the soil, a certain kind of calcium put to the soil. Calcium hydroxide, very alkaline. When you measure the pH, it's like a pH of 11. So for people that are more acidic, say you're in the high 5 ranges or mid 5 ranges of your urine and saliva pH, then lime water would be more powerful in being able to raise your pH back to that alkaline state. And you can check your urine and saliva pH between the hours of 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. with pH paper, away from food, either 3 hours after a meal or half hour before a meal, to see where you're at. Do that 3 days in a row, you get the average, and then you can sort of like keep track. And there's also the GI tract. If it's too acidic, there's something called Cal2. That's also pill form that's very alkalinizing as well for the GI tract. So